Ladies and gentlemen, everything in between, hello, welcome to the channel. I feel like we have to do this video because we just filmed a reaction to what will happen at the King's coronation. As we all know, Lizzie kicked the bucket and James Charles... No, I don't know why I keep doing that. I'm so sorry. Charles III and Camilla are now the king and queen, basically, of England. And so... at the end of the video, I held my tongue very well in that video, and then at the very end, that's when the person who made the video was commenting on the whole affair. And I was like, wait a minute, this is time that we need to pay our respects to Miss Diana, the like goddess of England. So this video is 10 times Princess Diana pissed off the royal family with her iconic antics. Let's get into it. Subscribe if you're new here, like the video, and you know, usually I'm open to comments, but with this one, if you have anything negative to say about Diana, just keep it to yourself because I don't want to see it. Thank you. Let's get into the video. And here comes someone saying, Favour, you can't dictate what people have to say. We have a right to our opinions. Not over here, you don't. I say what I said. Keep your shit about Diana to yourself because I don't want to hear it. Here we go.
Well, there were 3 of us.
Look at her!
In this marriage. So it was a bit crowded.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times Princess Diana pissed off the royal family.
Cute.
Granny was christened in this.
Great.
Great Granny.
Diana. I'm holding my tongue. And he had the audacity to cheat. It's wild.
And I was.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest.
Rebelled against the rules of the firm. Let us know in the comments what your favourite Princess Diana moment is. Number 10, Obey. Though Diana was only 20 years old when she married Prince Charles, she was already rebelling against the rules and regulations of Buckingham Palace. She made the decision to edit the royal wedding vows, taking issue with the promise to obey her new spouse.
Wait, is that a real thing for y'all? Like, the vows? I promise to obey my husband? This isn't Handmaid's Tale. This is not Handmaid's Tale. And it makes me question all the ones who are always, tradition, we need to keep this. It's about respecting history. It's tradition. Your tradition is making a woman who's 20 years old say that she promises to obey her husband. I cannot have heard that correctly.
Diana was only 20 years old when she married Prince Charles. She was already rebelling against the rules and regulations of Buckingham Palace. She made the decision to edit the royal wedding vows, taking issue with the promise to obey her new spouse, as the vows are written for the Church of England. She cut out the pledge to obey, something ordinary people had already been doing for years by this point because of how archaic it sounds.
It does.
Wilt thou have this man to thy wedded husband, to live together according to God's law in the holy estate of matrimony? Wilt thou love him, comfort him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health?
This wasn't a one-off though. Decades later, and both Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle would also remove the word obey, thanks to the precedent Diana set.
Okay, I respect that. It was like a good steamroll that she started. But it's good to know it wasn't just a Diana thing. Like, the common people, like, they just said also get rid of freaking obey in the vows. What in the world? That's so nasty. It's like, it's when I promise to obey sounds like ownership and just like I'm beneath you. It's gross.
I, Diana Francis.
Hi, Diana
Francis.
Take thee, Charles Philip Arthur George.
Take thee, Philip Charles Arthur George.
Mans has like 5 first names. Interesting.
Thee, Charles Philip Arthur George.
Take thee, Philip Charles Arthur George.
Number 9, normal
She was so
childhoods.
soft-spoken.
Though she was an aristocrat herself, Diana never wanted Prince William and Prince Harry to lose touch with the ordinary people of the world.
Aww.
So she did her best to give them a normal childhood, inasmuch as anyone with that level of privilege can. Though William and Harry did still have nannies to take care of them, thanks to the busy schedules of their parents, Diana always kept up with their lives and was the most hands-on mother the royals had ever had at this time.
Granny was christened in this.
And this is why I say you cannot tell me anything about Princess Diana. If Diana drew poop at a commoner's face, I would say, well, why didn't the commoner move? That's how down I am for Princess Diana.
Great
Granny. And I was.
Though this was against the parenting styles of the Queen and other senior royals, it's clearly made William and Harry
Good
far
people.
more down to earth
Yeah.
than they might have been otherwise. Number 8, crouching. The royal family is supposed to divine in nature, placed onto the throne by God. As such, it's expected.
What? Divine in nature, placed on the throne by God. Is that what she said?
I was.
Though this was against the parenting styles of the Queen and other senior royals, it's clearly made William and Harry far more down to earth than they might have been otherwise. Number 8, crouching. The royal family is supposed to divine in nature, placed onto the throne by God.
If I punched Camilla in the nose right now, her nose would bleed just as mine would bleed. It wouldn't sparkle. Angels wouldn't come singing out of her nostrils. She's a human being just like I am. Point being, this royalty stuff, there's no such thing. They are human beings just like me and you. Placed on the throne by God. You... Babes, let's not act like we don't know how royalty came and how even the United States became colonized. Land was stolen. People had to suffer for there even to be a monarch. Placed by God. That's what you told yourself.
Divine in nature, placed onto the throne by God. As such, it's expected that everybody in the United Kingdom show deference to them at all times, including young children.
Mother knelt on the carpet to show the baby to the children, but by now a tearful Prince Harry had had enough.
That's why it was so
Cute.
landmark when the Princess of Wales crouched down to talk to the young, so that she was on their level and less intimidating.
That's... Oh my gosh, that's what you're supposed to do with kids. Whether you're royal or not, or just a normal human freaking being, you get down on the level to make the child or whoever you're talking to feel more comfortable. Like whenever we were doing our peds rotation in clinical and have to deal with children, it's always you do whatever you can body language wise, the way you speak, you have to change the words you use so that you can make the other person feel comfortable enough to interact with you, basically. Like that's just what a normal human being would do. You're telling me that's against the royal tradition? At this point, the traditions make no sense.
To the young, so that she was on their level and less intimidating. Future King Prince William, the Duchess of Cambridge, Prince Harry and other modern royals also crouched down to talk to
Good.
young kids. Expecting children to grasp the complexities of having to defer to the Queen isn't really realistic. Diana made them feel at ease thanks to her years of experience looking after kids.
Oh, look at her fashion
Number
sense.
7, hospital birth. Until Diana, it was standard for the royals to have home births.
So they brought the epidural to the room, right? What would happen if there was a complication? Jeez. Were there any royals who died during childbirth? Let me know. Why not just go to a hospital? And if you want to really feel that prissy, like, I don't know, rent the whole hospital for the day. This is a risk to me.
Attended in their bedrooms by doctors and midwives. It was also standard for royal mothers like
Cute.
Elizabeth II and Queen Victoria to be heavily sedated during the process to try and minimise stress to the sovereign.
Was receiving his first sights and sounds of the outside world, but from the glimpse we saw of him, it appeared he was fast asleep. The princess looked happy, relaxed, and well recovered from her labour.
Diana, however...
Diana. And just to think where we're at right now in real, like, in current time, it just makes me kind of sad. Diana was legendary. Side note, if you want to hear about my endeavors into the NICU, neonatal ICU, versus operating room whenever I graduate from nursing school in a couple months, go ahead and look at my vlog channel, Favour's World. I'll pin it down below or something. Diana.
The princess looked happy, relaxed, and well recovered from her labour.
Diana, however, decided to have a natural birth in a hospital, St. Mary's Hospital to be specific, and that's where both William and Harry were born. Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle also both chose to have hospital births, thanks to Diana's trailblazing decision.
It seems like Diana really did pave the way for both Kate and Meghan. Like, a lot of the decisions that she made, which are just like common sense decisions, like, it helps them have a easier transition into this royal platform. Shout out to Diana, man. A true trailblazer.
Diana completely changed royal motherhood. Completely turned it on its head.
Today, it's far more common for women to have hospital births than home births.
No, and I don't mean, honestly, no disrespect, Diana was doing charity work at 20 years old with this guy. No disrespect to your king, and then he has the audacity to cheat on her. Oh my god.
Number 6, nursery.
William was baptised in the music room at Buckingham Palace. But Diana wasn't consulted about what time would work best for her baby, and the morning didn't go well.
Another way Diana was different when it came to raising her sons was her decision to send them to nursery. In the past, royal children would have been educated at home by a governess, something that was already very old-fashioned by the mid-20th century.
Later, she claimed that she felt sort of an extra from that whole scene, that it was much more about the royal family and presenting an image to the world
rather than the kids'
welfare of William.
Rather than have William taught at home, Diana sent him to Miners Nursery School, a tradition continued with Prince Harry. This meant...
So basically this is like the upper 1% sending their kids to public school kind of thing.
The royals interacted with children their own age from the beginning, unlike Prince Charles, dubbed the lonely heir from time to time. Prince William's children have also attended schools, though they're still all expensive, fee-paying private schools.
Oh, they're private schools.
Number 5, speaking about mental health.
Instead,
in the
I
90s.
suggest that we consider what part we can play in the fight against addiction.
Far from continuing the royal family's stiff upper lip approach to mental health, Diana was outspoken about her personal issues. She'd said that she'd had bulimia, an eating disorder, for many years, though by the time she opened up with the public about it, it had been treated.
Mental health, like the problems of drug and alcohol misuse, does not easily attract public sympathy.
This made her a major spokesperson for mental health and eating disorders.
And again, I feel like this is why out of all the royals, Diana is like one of the few that the entire world loves. She wasn't a royal, and she wasn't trying to keep up these appearances of being a royal. She was a human being who struggled just like the rest of us and had her own issues going on. And she wasn't afraid to share them. She didn't like hide them and try to, I don't know, like they just said, the upper lip thing and act like she was better than us. She was us at the end of the day, even with her title. And that is again why you can't tell me nothing about Diana. She was the best.
Though it likely wasn't what the royal family wanted.
So we, in turn, must recognise the part that individuals can play in caring for all the casualties of our society.
Regardless, Diana's legacy continues in her sons,
She was a good speaker.
with Prince Harry notably speaking about mental health and championing many charitable causes, including the effects being in the royal family has on a person. Number 4, hunting. Another thing Diana allegedly hated that the royal family loved is hunting. Though she'd gone hunting herself in her aristocratic youth, by the time she was a mother, she didn't want William and Harry to be encouraged to hunt animals. She likely never intervened to actually stop them from doing the activity, but her disapproval wasn't a secret, even if she did deny how deep it was to the newspapers from time to time.
Is this a bastard?
No, because when you really think about it, Harry and William have been through a lot in their lives. It's sad. Now, as for the hunting thing, y'all know I'm from Texas, so I don't know. I'm indifferent to it. I don't personally hunt. I don't own any guns, but I'm not going to knock the next person who does do that stuff, you know? I'm kind of indifferent on it, so let me know how you feel about hunting. Do they still hunt now, the royal family?
I mean, this would be used for what?
Regardless, Diana was certainly in the right on this one. Today, hunting for sport is considered abhorrent by most people, with only Britain's privileged elite still taking part in this country. Number 3, black dresses.
Everybody hunts here.
She was a fashion icon for most of her life, and numerous times her fashion choices flew in the face of royal protocol. Most notably, the Princess of Wales would sometimes wear black for events, when usually the royal family is only supposed to wear black if they are—
Wait, is this the moment where, like, the affair came out or something and she is, like, her revenge dress? Is this the moment?
—in mourning or attending a solemn event. Like
it is!
Sunday.
Oh, look how good she looked. That big ass jewel.
Diana.
The shoulders, the black. Diana. She was an icon. And again, she was doing charity work with that pair of ears.
Famously wore a so-called black revenge dress in 1994. The very same day a documentary aired about Prince Charles' infidelity.
Wow. This was all vintage. I was born in 98, so I wasn't even in existence when all this was going down. But the fact we still talk about it today, and that shows her iconicness. Your husband cheats on you. He reveals it in an interview. And this is how you come out. Smiling, looking hot as ever, greeting people. They're happy to see you. I bet you this... I don't think people were looking at Diana any type of way, like with pity or anything. I think they were looking at her like, wow, what a piece of crap Charles is. That's how because everyone already, before this even happened, everyone loved Diana. So at this point, for you to hurt Diana makes us want to hurt you, kind of thing. And now he has Camilla on the throne with him.
She wore black at other times too, and why shouldn't she? Ordinary people wear black all the time, and it doesn't mean they're in mourning after all. Number 2, HIV/AIDS stigma.
Today, the hospital reckoned that the princess's visit was worth all the government propaganda put together.
One of Diana's biggest legacies is her advocacy for HIV and AIDS sufferers in the 90s.
She said, the lady said, HIV. Sounds German.
For HIV and AIDS sufferers in the 1980s, as the AIDS epidemic took over the world. Diana embarked on a trip to New York in which she was photographed and filmed shaking hands with and hugging AIDS patients.
Only this patient agreed to a still photograph with the princess, and then only with his back to the camera.
This alone massively helped shake the stigma of HIV.
Hello, it's not like she was touching their bodily fluids, she was shaking their hand. What do you mean? I mean, it would be different if they had like shingles or any other cutaneous disease, but unless, am I wrong? Like, no! You get HIV and AIDS from bodily fluids, right? So it was probably just misinformation, like people didn't know, right? Like there wasn't enough research to know.
As at the time, many were afraid to even touch AIDS patients out of fear of contracting the disease.
Get educated, do your research.
Though, of course, it can't be spread this way.
By the mere fact that she wasn't wearing gloves and the mere fact that she shook hands with the patients and myself.
Diana remained a prominent activist for HIV and AIDS for the rest of her life, but we're not sure the palace was too pleased with her wading into public health issues.
Why not? So they just wanted her to be popping out babies and smiling for pictures. But Diana was not that woman. She had a freaking brain in her head. She's not just a hee hoo hoo. I baked a dinner casserole. Take a picture of it. Like, women are so much more than that. They were just haters. The royals back in the day with Diana, they were just hating on her. The royal family should have been surrounded around Diana, and maybe then you would have more people in support of them today.
Number 1. The Martin Bashir interview.
Mr. Bashir showed him fake bank statements, falsely suggesting people close to Princess Diana were being paid to spy on her in order to secure an interview.
The same landmark interview where she came clean about her mental health struggles, there were many other revelations in this notorious episode of Panorama.
This is like the Oprah Winfrey Show before there was an Oprah Winfrey Show. It's the Oprah Winfrey Show, but British, right?
Landmark interview where she came clean about her mental health struggles, there were many other revelations in this notorious episode of Panorama. With no palace staff or press officers, Diana gave an extremely candid interview about her life and her marriage to the Prince of Wales in 1995, when they'd already been separated for a number of years.
Oh, they were already... Okay, I thought it was just... They were keeping up appearances. The news came out because Charles, for whatever reason, decided to tell everyone he was cheating on her, and then she divorced him. But she left him for years, apparently.
Prince of Wales in 1995, when they'd already been separated for a number of years.
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
Following the interview in which Diana...
I can't even feign over her voice because I'm just irritated, annoyed, disgusted, feeling bad. If you're in it's like I go back and forth. So I'm like, if you're in love with someone else, Charles was in love with Camilla because hello, they're together now, how many years later? But if you're in love with freaking Camilla, then go get with Camilla. Why bring Diana into the mix? Why bring your children into the mix and create all this chaos in their lives? All this could have been avoided if Charles just went with Camilla. But I'm sure there was some royal situation where Camilla could not, but she's there today, so what do you mean? Why did it take 20 years after Diana's death for him to get with Camilla? Why didn't he just get with her in the beginning instead of causing all this heartache, and then maybe Diana would still be alive today?
Anna famously talked about her overcrowded marriage to Prince Charles. Buckingham Palace decided the Waleses had to divorce. Years on, and it was revealed that Bashir earned this interview through fraud. The BBC was forced to apologise to the late royals family in 2020.
He says the mocked up bank statements were a stupid thing to do and an action I deeply regret, but insists they have no bearing on Princess Diana choosing to give an interview.
Do you agree?
I don't know the story behind that, but what I do know is that Diana is one of, if not the only, 100,000% respectable royal, and I will die on that hill.